为什么全世界都在拼命鼓励生育？
Why is the whole world desperately encouraging childbirth? Some say it's because of an aging population and a shrinking workforce, claiming that having more children is the only way to alleviate the pressure on pension systems. In reality, urging people to have children is not that simple. The deeper logic lies in the fact that if the fertility rate remains sluggish, the entire industrial chain supporting the operation of society will face collapse, and the normal circulation of the economic system may even stagnate. Raising children nowadays is no longer just a private matter for a single family. It has been crafted into a massive industrial ecosystem. Even before a child is born, they have already become the most important asset in this industrial chain. Things like prenatal checkups, nutritional supplements, and maternity bags are just the warm-up. Once the child is born, the real consumption chain is fully activated. From confinement centers and maternity matrons to milk powder, diapers, strollers, and early education classes, the total expenditure for a family in a first-tier city before the child turns 3 can easily reach 6 figures. More critically, every stage of a child's growth corresponds to a group of market entities that are heavily dependent on children for survival. In infancy, the dairy industry benefits first. In 2024, the retail scale of the domestic dairy market reached 521.7 billion Chinese yuan, approximate $72.46 billion, with infant formula being directly and strongly tied to the fertility rate. The postpartum care industry is the same. The compound annual growth rate of the domestic confinement center market is as high as 20%, yet the penetration rate is less than 1/3 of South Korea's, hiding immense market potential. When the child reaches school age, family expenses upgrade further. Even leaving aside school district housing, schools, teachers, uniform suppliers, stationery factories, publishers, and extracurricular tutoring institutions all rely on a steady stream of newborns to maintain operations. A child is a flowing line of consumption. Later on, when the child goes to university, there are tuition fees and living expenses. After starting work, they need to buy a house and a car, get married, and have children. Which of these is not a huge expense? Many young people find it hard to bear on their own and often have to empty 6 wallets, the savings of the couple and both sets of grandparents, to make ends meet. Looking at this full circle, it becomes clear. A child's growth trajectory perfectly connects dozens of industries such as healthcare, education, housing, and consumer goods. So a child is not just a mouth to feed. They are a mobile demand generator, constantly creating consumption and driving the flow of resources. Sociologists have pointedly noted that many needs in modern society are actually carefully designed. To some extent, childbirth has evolved from the traditional concept of carrying on the family line into the core driving force that maintains the operation of this economic system. Therefore, once the fertility rate remains low, the engine stimulating consumption growth will misfire. Look at the real experience of Tianmen, Hubei. This once populous city saw its birth numbers fall from 18,000 in 2017 to 6,004 in 2023, shrinking by nearly 2/3. Following this was the closure of obstetrics departments in township hospitals, the bankruptcy of hospitals, and a persistently sluggish consumer market. The turning point came in 2023, when Tianmen City introduced strong fertility incentive policies. The comprehensive subsidy for a 3-child family can reach up to 280,000 Chinese yuan, approximate $38,889, accompanied by housing purchase coupons of 60,000 Chinese yuan, approximate $8,333, for a second child and 120,000 Chinese yuan, approximate $16,667, for a third child. This series of measures had an immediate effect. In 2024, the number of births in Tianmen City achieved a year-on-year increase of 17%, not only halting a 7-year decline but also driving a 6.5% growth in real estate investment and a staggering 19.8% increase in the city's general public budget revenue. This virtuous cycle of childbirth stimulating consumption and consumption pulling the economy is exactly the core motivation for local governments to actively encourage childbirth. Let's talk about the National Child-Rearing Subsidy Policy implemented this year. Calculated based on 20 million infants and toddlers, the annual subsidy scale reaches 72 billion Chinese yuan, approximate $10 billion. The vast majority of this money will flow into the maternal and infant consumption sector. Maternal and infant chains, baby products, dairy products, etc., are all direct beneficiaries, while also driving resource circulation across various industries in society. There is a saying in economics that demand is created, and this has been fully verified in the fertility industrial chain. So when young people express that they don't want to or dare not have children, it is not just demographers who are nervous, but also the huge employment groups and capital forces attached to this industrial chain. Fewer children means the most direct impact is on the education system. The wave of kindergarten closures is no longer news. Next, it will spread to primary and secondary schools, followed by the closure of maternal and infant shops, production cuts in children's clothing factories, deserted pediatric hospitals, and real estate losing its most important rigid demand customers of the future. This is a set of interlinked dominoes. There is also a cruel reality. The cost of supporting this huge industrial chain mostly falls on ordinary families. The average cost for an urban family in China to raise a child to age 17 is 538,000 CNY, approximate $74,722, which is equivalent to 6.8 times the family's annual income. This does not even include hidden opportunity costs, such as career interruptions for women due to childbirth. Those voices standing on the moral high ground accusing young people of irresponsibility have overlooked the essence of the problem. Behind the glory of childbirth is the heavy weight of costs that ordinary families find hard to bear. I recently saw data showing that South Korea's total fertility rate has fallen to around 0.7, the lowest in the world, and Japan has also hit a multi-year low. This is not a problem of any single country but a global trend. Yet the difference lies in how we respond. To truly boost the fertility rate, shouting slogans is useless. We see that some places have started issuing child-rearing subsidies, some cities are waiving kindergarten fees, and some places are vigorously promoting affordable childcare systems and trying to implement more flexible maternity leave systems. These are the right directions. Only by truly reducing the economic burden on families, letting young people see that the pressure of raising children is tangibly lowered, and ensuring that childbirth is no longer a social responsibility borne solely by individuals, can the fertility rate truly rebound. After all, what supports the operation of society should not be the sacrifice of families, but a reasonable cycle of benefits.
现在大批男生单身。
The reason a large number of guys are single nowadays isn't because they are poor or ugly, nor is it because they lack opportunities. It's because they find dating to be pointless. Just look at the popular power fantasy novels or games aimed at men right now. Most protagonists conquer the world alone, and there isn't even a proper female lead. The screens are full of bullet comments repeating the phrase, "Women only slow down the speed at which I draw my sword." This group of guys simply won't bother trying hard to chase anyone anymore. It's not that they don't like women, but they really don't have the patience to deal with all the twists and turns. Their mindset is very direct. If you make the first move, we can give it a try. But if you still want me to chase you, guess your thoughts, and flatter you like in the past, then forget it. The principle of these guys is, refuse no one who comes, chase no one who leaves. So let's stop blindly believing in the idea that there are more men than women. That theory is long outdated. Many women still feel they have the absolute advantage and are still waiting for men to simp for them, only to end up dragging themselves into being leftover women, older singles, due to the delay. They can't figure out why those decent guys would rather stay single and stay home playing games than take the initiative to make a move. It's simply because people have started to doubt the cost-performance ratio, ROI, of relationships. When the emotional drain caused by dating outweighs the sense of achievement, men naturally choose to withdraw from the race. The final result is that no one yields to anyone, so everyone might as well stay single together until old age.
你们有没有发现现在的离婚率越来越高了？
Have you noticed that the divorce rate is getting higher and higher these days? Do you have friends or relatives around you complaining about the misfortunes of marriage and contemplating divorce? If you or someone you know has such thoughts, in today's video, Lin Yi will explain the truth behind divorce in one go. Please share this with friends who need it. Perhaps it can dispel their thoughts of divorce. First, there is absolutely no perfect marriage in this world. Every family has its own difficulties. You think others are living well only because you haven't seen their messy side. Some couples look like they have a great relationship, but their financial condition is average. Others are financially well off, but the relationship between the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law is chaotic. When God opens a door for you, He will close a window. How can there be perfection? It's like a bird in a cage wanting to fly out, while the birds outside the cage envy the shelter from wind and rain inside. So, never choose divorce just to escape current problems. Classmates, the troubles of a second marriage are no less than those of the first. Second, the essence of marriage is a floor covered in chicken feathers, a mess. And the key is that the couple must know how to clean it up together. Solemn vows cannot be eaten as food. The smell of cooking in the kitchen is the most authentic life. Classmates, if you can't figure out this principle, no matter how many new partners you switch to, life will still look the same. Many people think that living unhappily is due to choosing the wrong person, but where is there so much love in this world? Most of the time, it's just the desire for novelty at work. It's like drinking too much mineral water and wanting a Coke, or eating too much rice and wanting barbecue. But classmates, if you drink Coke and eat barbecue every day, you will still get sick of it, right? Loving the new and loathing the old is human nature. A boring marriage is the norm of human life. True romance is knowing how to do new things with an old partner, not repeating old things with a new person. Third, there is no perfect other half in marriage. Don't expect too much from your partner. Excessive nitpicking is the nemesis of marriage. You have to understand that a man with a successful career has no time to accompany his wife, while a family-oriented man may not earn a lot of money. A beautiful woman may spend money without restraint, while a thrifty, family-oriented woman may not look glamorous. There are no lovers who score a 10 out of 10, only 100% tolerance. Lower your expectations of your partner a little, and you might find that what they give you is full of surprises. Choosing who I love is easy, but loving who I chose is rare. After all, marriage is inherently plain and dull. No matter who you live with, you are ultimately living with yourself. No matter who you struggle against, you are ultimately struggling with yourself. Mindset determines everything. Why take everything so seriously? So, how can a couple make a family happy? Lynn E. will simplify complex matters today. Let me say a few words to the women first. One day as husband and wife means 100 days of grace. Don't covet a second spring, romance outside. No matter how excellent other men are, don't throw yourself into their arms. Don't complain that life at home is bitter. Diligent and thrifty housekeeping is up to you. A harmonious family brings much joy. Don't spoil the children. Buy fewer snacks and cook more meals. Guide the children more. With care and education, their grades will be good. Let me also give a reminder to the men. With children and a family, you cannot act recklessly. Smoke less, drink less, and don't gamble when gathering with friends. Work more, idle less, and save more money in your bank card. Live life realistically. Vanity will harm you. You are the pillar of the family. You must take care of both the old and the young. Love your family, honor your parents, and be reliable to your friends. Loving your wife, children, and family, but not loving your body equals zero. Health is the key. Keep exercise and wellness in mind. Finally, classmates, I wish everyone in 2026 to work together to raise children, share weal and woe, not compare food or clothing, and have a family filled with harmony and overwhelming joy. And before we continue, let us know in the comments where you're watching this video from. Connecting with viewers from all around the world is a huge inspiration for us. Thank you so much.
他做错了吗？相亲10分钟，女方一句没看上。
Did he do something wrong? The blind date lasted 10 minutes. The woman didn't like him from the start. The young man left, walked halfway, thought about it, felt something wasn't right, and went back. In front of her whole family, he wanted to take back the gift worth 2,000 yuan, approximate $280 US. The woman's family was unhappy. saying there's no logic in taking back something already given. It's against the rules. The young man didn't argue but laid out his reasoning clearly and spoke directly. If we are not suitable, we go our separate ways. I earned this money, so I should rightfully take it back. Someone blocked the door, muttering about it being shameful. He took out his phone and said, "Either call the police or let me make things clear." The matchmaker got anxious, pulled him into the hallway, and said it would look bad if word got out. The young man replied, "What looks bad is treating someone's sincerity as an entrance fee." Inside the gift bag were tobacco, alcohol, health supplements, and a supermarket card, which he had bought in several trips the day before. The credit card transaction texts were still on his phone. It wasn't a small amount to him. Someone from the woman's family started lecturing about rules, using increasingly harsh words. The young man didn't engage, just grabbed the bag and left. A cousin downstairs filmed a video and sent it to a small group chat. Half an hour later, it was floating around the local forum. The title was glaring: "Blind Date Guy Takes Back Gift in Public." The comment section was divided. Some said he was stingy, others said it served them right. That night, the matchmaker called, still wanting him to leave something symbolic as a gesture. He said, "Fine, list your expenses for me. I'll pay for the drinks, but I won't leave the gift." A while later, the woman's family sent a receipt. The tea fee was 168 yuan, approximate $23 and 50 cents. The young man transferred 200 yuan, approximate $28 with the note "Blind Date Tea," saved the screenshot, and felt at ease. The next day, he put the gift bag in the cabinet, unopened. His father looked at him and sighed, saying his temper was too straight. The young man smiled and said it's not about being straight, it's about knowing how to stop losses. Money should be spent on those willing to accept it. The supermarket card would be kept to buy rice and oil for his parents, and the tobacco and alcohol would just sit there for now. By the third day, the video's popularity spiked. Some people criticized his job, others made jokes about his profile picture. He simply posted a status update: "I am willing to give, but I don't want to pile things where they are not needed." Quite a few people liked it, and some reminded him not to treat blind dating as a confrontation. The young man replied, "It's not confrontation, it's boundaries." The most interesting part is that a young woman sent him a private message saying that seeing how he handled it, she felt he had a good sense of propriety and suggested they grab a coffee. The two met at a small shop near the subway entrance, went Dutch, AA on 2 lattes, and chatted for 2 hours about family, work, and how to share burdens. He didn't bring bags of gifts, only a notebook with his monthly plan written on it. The girl looked at it and laughed, saying this notebook was more practical than gifts. Finally, the two said they would go back and think about it. No promises, no awkwardness. I think the key to this matter lies not in the amount of money, but in whether respect was actually shown. Many so-called habits are spoken of as rules, but in reality, they just push the cost onto one party. Matchmaking is meant for mutual understanding, not comparing pomp and extravagance. Giving willingly is a sentiment. If it's not a match, retreating with dignity means no one owes anyone anything. Have you never encountered such a scene? Would you take the gift back like the young man, or would you accept the loss as a lesson? Feel free to leave a message in the comments and share your views.
现在没结婚的兄弟啊，
To the brothers who are currently unmarried, you might have truly dodged a bullet. I'm not telling you not to get married, but I want to tell you that getting married blindly in this day and age is far more terrifying than not getting married at all. Look around you. How many people are living worse lives after marriage than when they were single? They bought the house, shouldered the mortgage, had the kids, and the result is the couple fighting every day. Divorce? The cost is too high. Don't divorce? You're living in misery. If this kind of marriage isn't a disaster, then what is? Why do I dare to speak to you like this? Because I went through this myself. Back then, I really didn't understand anything. My family was pushing hard, and I also thought my ex-wife was quite pretty. To be honest, I didn't observe carefully what kind of person she was at all. All I had in mind was to settle this matter quickly. Why the rush? Bluntly put, It was just that men's issue, you know what I mean? Before marriage, physiological needs couldn't be met, and my heart was itching every day. At that time, I felt that as long as I got married, this issue would be solved and everything else would be easy to handle. So I got married in such a rush. Looking back now, this is the mistake men are most prone to making. Letting the brain be controlled by the lower body, jumping into a pit without thinking things through. Did you think everything would be over once you got married? That's truly too naive. After marriage, all kinds of conflicts you couldn't even imagine started coming out. Daily necessities, how to spend money, how to raise children, whose house to visit for New Year. Every single small thing became a fuse. This is when a person is truly tested, their character, whether their values are upright. It all gets exposed in these conflicts. You can't see it when dating because everyone is acting. Once you're married and living together, the act can't go on and the true face is revealed. It was only after marriage that I discovered my ex-wife was an extremely selfish person. She only thought of herself in everything and never considered my feelings. If there were benefits, she took them first. If there was trouble, she hid first. If a problem arose, it was always my fault. Credit was always hers. I thought back then, how did I not see this in the beginning? Later I understood, it wasn't that I didn't see it, it was that I didn't look at all. At that time, my eyes only saw her face, and I only thought about getting married quickly to solve my problems. As for other things like character, values, attitude towards family, spending habits, I knew absolutely nothing, and I hadn't even thought about understanding them. This is acting confusedly dating, confusedly getting the marriage certificate, and then confusedly falling into a pit. By the time you react, it's already too late. The cost is too high, and you can't climb out even if you want to. I believe that among the brothers watching this video, there are many who are just like I was back then, either pushed by family, feeling that you have to marry because of your age, or driven by physiological needs, thinking marriage will solve the problem, or bewitched by the other person's appearance, thinking that looking good is enough. These three mentalities are all rhythms of jumping into a pit. So what kind of people are most likely to fall into the pit? The first type is those who lack love too much. They didn't get enough attention and recognition growing up. So as adults, they crave someone to treat them well. Once a woman treats them just a little bit well, they think it's true love and won't let go. The result? They rush in without seeing clearly who the other person is, but only after marriage do they discover, shoot, it's not like that. The second type is those who are too anxious. Reaching a certain age with family pressing hard and friends all married, they panic and feel it'll be too late if they don't marry, so they just find someone good enough. Do you think the person found with this mentality can be any good? Marriage is for a lifetime. If you look for a partner with a mentality of hiring a temp worker, can you find a partner? The third type is those who are too naive, thinking everything will be fine once married, that living together will build feelings, and current problems don't matter because you'll slowly adapt after marriage. This is the biggest fantasy. Marriage won't solve any problems, it will only magnify them. If you two have conflicts now, you'll only fight more fiercely after marriage. I belong to the category of being both anxious and naive back then. And as a result, I didn't miss a single pitfall I was supposed to step into. So what should be done now? I'll say a few things. These are lessons I bought with real gold and silver, hard-earned experience. Listen and see if they make sense. First, think clearly about why you want to get married. Not because of age, not because of family pressure, not to solve physiological needs, not because everyone else is married, but because you truly want to build a family with someone and face the ups and downs of life together. If you can't think this through, then don't marry yet. Marrying without thinking it through is truly 100 times more troublesome than not marrying. I'm a living example. Second, don't be misled by appearance. Learn to judge people. Hey, can her good looks be eaten as food? Living life isn't about looking at a face. What do you need to look at? Her character, her values, her way of handling problems, her attitude towards family, her spending habits. These things won't lie, but they take time to observe. Don't rush to get a marriage certificate after dating for 3 months. You need to be together for at least a year, go through a few conflicts, and see if you two can solve problems well. Conflict isn't scary. What's scary is discovering after the conflict arises that this person is completely unreasonable and only thinks of themselves. then your life is effectively over. Third, don't lower your bottom line, but let go of fantasies. What is the bottom line? It's what you absolutely cannot accept, such as character issues, vastly different values, or a lack of basic respect for you. These are bottom lines that cannot be yielded. What is a fantasy? It's that perfect partner in your head. Pretty, gentle, makes money, takes care of the family, and is dead set on you. Wake up. Why would such a person choose you? Hold your bottom line. Let go of fantasies, and your range of choices will be much wider. Fourth, figure yourself out first. If you're a mess yourself, how can you manage a relationship? If you don't even know what you want, how can you find the right person? Marriage isn't here to save you, nor to solve your problems. It's here to cooperate with you. You have to be a reliable person first to attract a reliable person. Looking back now, I wasn't mature at all back then. I didn't understand what I wanted, didn't know how to judge people, and didn't know how to manage a relationship. With that state, could marriage have a good result? Impossible. So I'm telling you brothers this now, not to persuade you not to marry. Marriage is not a scourge or a beast. A good marriage can give you wings like a tiger, but a rotten marriage can truly drag you into an abyss from which you can't climb out. Where's the difference? Your life is your own. Marriage is a major event. Think clearly before deciding. It is better to stay single and wait for the right person than to settle and ruin the second half of your life. This is the lesson I got in exchange for a failed marriage. I hope you won't walk my old path again.
女人最大的失败
A woman's greatest failure is divorce. The family is scattered. She destroyed the home, started living a life of drifting from one place to another and just shacking up, yet she still feels she is glorious. Actually, men look down on this kind of person from the bottom of their hearts. Do you know that? You don't even count as a snack to them. Think about your ex-husband. How he chased you and put you on a pedestal back then. His eyes were full of you. He pledged his life to protect you. He got a matchmaker to send betrothal gifts, bought a car and a house, and used a wedding car to bring you home. Now you're divorced, you acted out and made a scene, and you lost him. This is the greatest failure in a woman's life, because you will never again find someone like your ex-husband who shields you from the wind and rain without asking for anything in return. So, what is a man's greatest failure? He was originally living a flourishing life, free and at ease, but then he brought back a second-hand woman, picked up what someone else left behind, what someone else didn't want, and from then on, he slumped and went downhill. This is a man's greatest failure. Do you know that? Reflect on it properly. Thanks for watching.
愿意花188万的彩礼把
Are you willing to spend 1.88 million Chinese yuan, approximate 260,000 US dollars, as a bride price to marry a 40-year-old goddess-level woman like me? But if you are just an ordinary man with a car and a house, don't even dream of getting me. To put it bluntly, there are plenty of guys with cars and houses nowadays. I believe that with my stunning looks and fairy-like figure, finding a domineering CEO with an annual income of 1 million CNY, approximate 140,000 US dollars, is as easy for me as putting on makeup. Finding a partner isn't hard for me, because to prevent men in Hangzhou from having untoward intentions toward my beauty, I am forced to accept a bride price of 1.88 million Chinese yuan, approximate 260,000 US dollars, while lowering my standards to enter the matchmaking market, reluctantly looking for a handsome and wealthy CEO. I focus a lot on the first impression. Generally, I like handsome guys. My name is Xiao Xian. As a 40-year-old little girl from Hangzhou, it's inconvenient to reveal my profession, but as long as I put on beautiful makeup, my clients spend money on me like water. Because my makeup skills are among the best in Hangzhou. Before makeup, I might just be a girl, but after makeup, my best friends say I look like Louis Fei. And when I put on expensive hanfu, not only do passers-by crazily ask for my WeChat, but my best friends even say I am more beautiful than Louis Fei. I feel that dressing well puts me in a good mood, so on a day like this, how could I possibly let myself bleed, suffer a loss, the next second? I know that since I worked so hard to ask for a bride price, I shouldn't put too much pressure on those domineering CEOs. A bride price of around 1.88 million Chinese yuan, approximate 260,000 US dollars, is enough, provided that the man's house must be transferred to my name. Because my best friends say that a pure and clear little princess like me deserves to have her own castle. Subsequently, the program team matched me with a victim. He was a man, and upon the first glance I didn't want to take a second look because our looks were not on the same level at all. I am goddess level while he is average looking. What was even more ridiculous was that the male guest had bought a house with a loan, and he was unwilling to transfer the title to my name. Are you planning to buy a house here? If it weren't for marriage, I wouldn't need to buy a house at all. This is for the guy to buy. Do you see if the guy needs savings or if having a loan is okay? It's just that his loan is a pressure, whereas savings aren't pressure, and you don't have to pay a monthly mortgage. Thus, this blind date had to end in failure. Soon, a second victim appeared. This man was slightly more handsome than the first, and this time I specifically wore full makeup, making the difference between this and the last date like that between a celebrity and a passerby. So the moment the male guest saw me, he gulped, mesmerized by my beauty. I learned that his family background was decent, but his annual income was only 800,000 Chinese yuan, approximate 110,000 US dollars, so I put forward my first requirement. The man must undertake all housework and hand over his salary every month. I have to take care of the children, take care of the house and work. In that case, I'd rather be single. After all, if I have to take care of things like that, I only need to take care of myself. Seeing that although the male guest hesitated, he didn't want to miss out on me, I took the opportunity to propose a bride price of 1.88 million Chinese yuan, approximate 260,000 US dollars, and transferring the house to my name. I wasn't afraid he would refuse because I don't lack suitors at all. Once he refuses me, I can find another man in the next second. Sure enough, in the end, the male guest expressed that he felt he wasn't good enough for me and didn't want me to waste my youth on him. He hoped I would continue to maintain my standards, as I would definitely find the domineering CEO who belongs to me. Finally, due to our incompatible values, this blind date ended in failure again. After returning, I told my best friend about my blind date experience. Unexpectedly, my best friend scolded me angrily, saying that my requirements were too low, which is why the liaison team matched me with ordinary men. I must raise my requirements so that I can filter out men who are not worthy of me. Otherwise, I would be wasting my beautiful flower-like face in vain. Hearing my best friend's advice, I suddenly woke up to reality.
41岁的我如果回到31岁，我一定会告诉那个年轻人。
If I, at 41, could go back to when I was 31, I would definitely tell that young person a few truths. Because if left to figure it out on his own, he might take too many wrong turns. I would tell him, in your 30s you care too much about how others see you. You spend half a day overanalyzing a look from your boss. You ruminate endlessly on a colleague's remark thinking, is he hinting at something? What is he implying? You even agonize over posting a photo on social media, worrying if the caption is too flashy or too depressing, wondering if the boss will see it, or what others will think. Looking back now, those tense relationships, or rather those people, most of them don't exist in my life. 10 years later, we don't even talk anymore. Human interaction is truly situational. People might just happen to meet at this age, in this company, in this department, in this city, and accompany each other for just that segment of the journey. Moreover, truly reliable relationships never require you to tiptoe to accommodate or reach up to them. Save your energy. Save it for the person who, when you text, "I need you," slams on the gas and drives straight to your side. Leave your energy for these people. Being polite and kind to everyone else is impressive enough. It's enough. You really don't need to try too hard. Second, your body holds a grudge far more than you imagine, you know? It never jokes around. When you're in your 30s, you treat it like a hard-working employee who never complains. You make it burn the midnight oil, work overtime, and with just a few cups of coffee, it fully revives. When you're in a bad mood, a hot pot meal and a few beers can coax it back to happiness. But let me tell you, when you're in your 40s, it starts settling accounts with you item by item. The sleep debt, stress debt, and emotional debt you owed before, it will demand them all back with interest, believe it or not. Take back pain, for example. It doesn't come suddenly. It's accumulated from sitting for 20 years, from hunching over a computer for so long. Insomnia doesn't just happen tonight or last night. It's the bitterness sown by your long-term anxiety. So don't treat wellness as a KPI for after you turn 40. It's a daily habit you must start in your 30s. Eat well, sleep well, and exercise well. Find something you can stick to. Don't act all high and mighty saying, "I want to sleep too, but I can't control it." Who controls you then? Right? I'm telling you, this isn't a small matter, and it's not about completing a task. It's depositing money for your future self. When you go to the hospital, can you bargain with them? If they say a price, that's the price, you know? There is no room for you to bargain. Third, keeping your head down and working hard is important, but I tell you, choosing the right place to work hard is even more important. What does that mean? Choice is far, far more important than effort. You used to firmly believe in the phrase hard work leads to riches, but I tell you, I was the same. I used to think that as long as I fought hard enough, I could make a name for myself anywhere. Later you will discover that if the direction is wrong, or if the industry itself is failing and going downhill, you can tire yourself to death and still not move forward more than a few steps. Your 30s are the time when the cost of adjusting direction is lowest. You must periodically stop and ask yourself, if I put my skills somewhere else, would I be better off, more valuable? Is your current life what you want, or what others think you should have? Choosing is harder than working hard, but it must be done because it truly requires you to look up periodically. Your direction and your choices determine the underlying color of your life. Fourth, you, the person you are more valuable than any label, more valuable than any title. Society loves to label us. Good employee, good partner, good parent, good child. And unknowingly, we use these labels to prove that we are doing pretty well. But the problem is, since labels are stuck on, they can be torn off. Once your job changes or human relationships change, the label ceases to exist. At this time, people easily panic, feeling they are nothing. So you need to think clearly early on, tear off these identities given by the outside world and ask, who are you really? What is indestructible? It is your ability, your emotional stability, your way of solving problems, and that resilience to get up after being knocked down. These things are you. They grow on you and no one can take them away. Investing in them is more solid and secure than investing in any title. Fifth, love yourself. This isn't about buying yourself expensive bags or clothes, but about drawing boundaries. You might think buying a gift is a material reward for your hard work. But later you will understand that truly loving yourself is daring to say, in the face of a scapegoat you shouldn't carry or responsibilities you shouldn't bear. This has nothing to do with me, this is not under my control, sorry, I can't do it. It is saying in an uncomfortable relationship, this ends here. It is allowing yourself to be tired today, to just not want to try hard. This isn't selfishness. This is self-love and self-preservation. When you start respecting yourself, respecting your own feelings, and establishing these boundaries with the outside world, you will find that others will respect you too. Your time, your energy, including your emotions, I tell you they are very expensive. Don't easily give them away for free. Sixth, life's margin for error is actually quite high. Don't scare yourself, thinking, oh no, it's over, it's ruined. In your 30s, you are terrified of choosing the wrong job, marrying the wrong person, buying the wrong house, feeling that one wrong step leads to a wrong life. But looking back now, those so-called mistakes that felt like the sky was falling have now become just scenery on a detour. It's really not that big of a deal. Losing a job might force you to discover a new skill or learn something new. Ending a relationship might teach you how to live with yourself or how to properly love someone. Life isn't chess. There is no single checkmate move. It's more like mahjong. Whatever tile you draw, you just play towards a winning hand with what you have. You are much tougher than you imagine, and life is much broader than you imagine. Seventh, relationships, in the end, come down to whether you can live daily life together. The premise is whether two people can truly share the burden. The feeling of butterflies in the stomach is like a spark. It's pretty, but it goes out easily. Long-lasting relationships rely on matching values, on being able to discuss things when problems arise, on being each other's safety net and source of courage during low points. Don't just look at, oh, what gift did he give me? You need to look at how he treats his parents, his friends, his relatives. This is very important. Forget about the person who makes you cry all the time. A good partner should be your comrade in arms, your good friend, making you feel that facing the world together is more powerful than fighting alone. Finally, I want to say that in your 30s, the most worthy investment is yourself. Learn more skills to rely on and you'll have more confidence. Keep your body in good shape, as that is the capital and principle for you to enjoy all of this. Thank you, everyone.
我都服了，现在有一些女人的一些
I am honestly amazed by the delusions some women have nowadays. They always think that every man in the world is begging to marry them, as if a man would live a miserable life if he never married. never dated, and had no girlfriend or wife. No. Men have never lacked marriage or girlfriends. What they lack is a soulmate who understands and cherishes them to spend a lifetime with. If your only function is to help them spend money, then what is the use of them marrying you? I saw a video before, it was quite funny. A woman said that although she lives paycheck to paycheck, a Moonlight Clan member, she requires a man to have an annual income of 1 million yuan, approximate $138,000. As for why a man earning 1 million yuan, approximate $138,000, should choose her? Because she knows how to spend money. She can spend that man's 1 million yuan, approximate $138,000, and create the effect of 10 million yuan, approximate $1,380,000. This really made all the guys in the comment section laugh their heads off. Let's just say, is there anyone in this world who earns money but doesn't know how to spend it? Who doesn't know how to spend? Come on, give it to me, I can spend it. Do you think you're special, lady? Do you have absolutely no other strengths? To state such parasitic, hedonistic, and filthy intentions so blatantly, you are truly disgracing women. Only you know how to spend money. Others don't?
I'm truly speechless.
So sometimes some women really make me laugh. Some women say things that make even me, a woman, angry. Like that quote, "If marriage doesn't make my life better than before I was married, why should I get married?" Marriage is for you to find someone to support each other and build a good life together. Not for you to enter and make money just by lying down. That's a brothel, you know? Do you want to go there? What kind of job allows you to make money just by lying down? Some women are not here to be wives or girlfriends to men. They are purely here to be creditors. The moment you talk to her, it's as if you owe her money, owe her 800, owe her 1,000,000. I'm really fed up. So to the boys, I'm advising you here. When you look for a girl, just look for someone with average to above average looks. You don't necessarily have to find a stunning beauty. Of course, to be honest, as a woman, I actually think that sometimes pretty girls are easier to get along with than the ugly ones. As the saying goes, ugly people create more trouble. Pretty people are quite nice too. I like beautiful women as well. How about you guys?
你知道别人为什么拿你当傻子吗？
Do you know why people take you for a fool? Because you act like a big fool. If you find yourself fitting into 3 of the categories I'm about to mention, you really need to reflect on yourself. The most foolish thing in life isn't lacking cunning, but knowing clearly that someone doesn't value you, yet still pouring your heart out to get close to them. Do you think this is kindness? In their eyes, you are just easy to bully and lacking in sense. Do you think it's tolerance? In their eyes, that's called having no bottom line. Some hidden motives really need to be exposed so you can see clearly who treats you with sincerity and who is treating you like a fool. First, let's talk about the most obvious one. Using you when looking forward, ignoring you when looking back. They are incredibly enthusiastic when they need your help, but when you need their help, they won't reply to any of your messages. These people are very shrewd. They calculate your value precisely. When borrowing money from you, they act more humble than anyone, but when it's time to pay back, they immediately play the disappearing act. You helped them carry burdens and scrape together money, but when you encounter difficulties, they turn around and pretend not to see you. Don't think they forgot. They calculated that you wouldn't make a fuss and took your kindness for granted. The second type is particularly infuriating, those who take advantage of you as a matter of course and then call you stingy. They always want you to pay the bill for meals, never return borrowed money or items, and don't even say thank you when using your resources. The most shameless people I've seen are those who treat taking advantage as a skill. If you refuse them or say a few words, they stick their necks out and bite back. Why are you so stingy? We're all brothers. So, friends, remember, a true relationship must be about mutual respect, not unilateral extraction. The third type is the most cunning. They never give you a direct, clear answer. You ask if something is okay, they say, let's see. You ask for a favor, they say, we'll talk later. These people never care about your difficulties, only their own interests. They rush in if there's a benefit and retreat if there's a risk. They are smooth operators who steer according to the wind. If you are useful, they fight to get close. If you are useless, They show their disdain right on their faces. The fourth behavior is that no matter what you do, they want to suppress you. No matter what you say, they want to step on you. You say you're tired lately, they say everyone in the world is tired. Your fatigue is nothing. Stop being dramatic. You say business is bad and you only made a small profit. They immediately turn around and say, in this day and age, what can you do with that little money? These people are actually very insecure deep down and can only show their sense of superiority by belittling others. Moreover, they especially don't want to see you do well. The saying, don't fear a brother being poor, fear a brother driving a Land Rover, becoming rich, describes exactly this kind of person. The fifth type is relatively hidden, being two-faced. They use your words as a token of allegiance to complain to their boss, and the next day the whole company might know. On the surface, they call you brother, but then they use your privacy as social currency to gain others' trust. These people are best at sowing discord and creating information asymmetry. They will tell you how so-and-so criticizes you behind your back and then run to those people to badmouth you. What is the goal? To make you suspect each other so they can profit from the conflict. So remember, you must stay away from these gossip mongers unconditionally and indiscriminately. The sixth type is particularly hurtful, those who deliberately embarrass you in public and joke about your weaknesses. If you react even a little, they call you petty. Why can't you take a joke? If you are fat, they call you fatty straight away. If your education is low, they mock you by asking if you can read. They trample on your self-esteem to find their own sense of presence. Under the banner of joking, they do the despicable deed of poking at people's scars. The seventh type is quite insidious. They ignore your opinions when making any decisions. But if a problem arises, they shift the blame to you. During a group discussion, they ignore your reasonable suggestions, but when the plan fails, they shamelessly accuse you. Why didn't you insist on your idea back then? These people treat you as a tool, a risk buffer, and a spare tire. Your only function in their eyes is probably being a soft persimmon, pushover, and a scapegoat. The eighth type can be said to be the most ruthless and annoying. They constantly PUA, manipulate/gaslight you. Their catchphrase is, I'm doing this for your own good, brother. I'm just trying to help you. They act pitiful in front of you to take full advantage, then turn around and brag to others about how stupid you are. These people are experts at mental control, turning you into an obedient puppet. Your heartache and sympathy are just the biggest jokes in their eyes. The last type is the most fatal, betraying you at a critical moment. You trust them, so you tell them all your trump cards and they turn around and trade them for their own benefit. These people have no principles. They help whoever gives them more benefits and betray whoever has no value to them. I have done many things and experienced many projects, and I have truly encountered many people with no bottom line and no principles. These people hurt you the deepest and harm you the most ruthlessly. So, everyone must be vigilant. Many people see this and say, oh, what should I do then? Actually, the answer is simple. Your kindness needs to have a bottom line, it needs to have a glow, and it needs to have sharp edges. Your sympathy needs to have principles. I am not teaching everyone to become cold and mean, but to let you learn to identify what kind of people deserve sincere treatment. A true friend will not turn against you because of one refusal. Those who turn against you never truly treated you well, and those who have turned against you never intended to be sincere with you. So from today on, stop wasting your sincerity on this bunch of people who don't take you seriously, and stop accommodating easily and compromising randomly. Please leave your goodness and kindness for those who know how to cherish it. So remember, you don't live to please everyone. You live to become a better version of yourself. Stop socializing with rotten people and rotten things, and start being a smart person with boundaries. For a woman to choose a second marriage, I really just pushed myself into a pit of fire again. It took me 6 full years and endless suffering to understand that when a divorced man marries you, it's not because he wants to give you love and warmth. Instead, he wants to get everything he needs from you until he squeezes you dry. My ex-husband and I married for love and had a daughter. The reason for our divorce back then seems incredibly ridiculous now. I just felt our personalities didn't match. He wasn't very good at caring for people and was quite reserved, while I was talkative and extroverted, so we were never on the same wavelength. I was young and impulsive then, always feeling that if life couldn't go on, I should cut my losses in time. I never thought about compromising or adapting, nor did I consider the child enough. Everyone around me advised me, saying, "What couple doesn't quarrel? Just make do and live." But I refused to listen, thinking that with my qualities, I could definitely find someone better. Just like that, I insisted on divorcing my ex-husband, and my daughter stayed with me. But in those 2 years, my family urged me to remarry every day, and I also couldn't stand the loneliness. So I went to a matchmaking gathering organized by a relative and met my current husband. He was also divorced, raising a son 2 years older than my daughter. When I first met him, he was very sweet, saying, "I know it's not easy for you to raise a child alone. In the future, I will definitely treat your child as my own and love you well." He also actively helped me pick up my daughter from school and bought snacks, looking very considerate and reliable. But I was deceived by his appearance. I thought I finally met someone who understood me, so after less than half a year of dating, we hurriedly got married. I didn't intend to have more children, but he kept saying, "We need a common child so that our relationship will be stable." I couldn't withstand his repeated persuasion, and not long after the marriage, I got pregnant and gave birth to a son. Now, with 3 children in the house, I was thoroughly tied down. The sweet words before marriage turned into bubbles after marriage. He always guarded against me. I never touched the family savings or his salary card. Even for major events like changing jobs or partnering with others in business, he never discussed them with me. By the time I found out, it was already a done deal. When I asked him why, he rightfully said to me, "Oh, you don't understand these things. Telling you is useless. It will only cause me trouble." I revolve around 3 children and the stove every day, living exactly like a free nanny. I get up at 6 in the morning to make breakfast and send the children to school. After coming back, I start cleaning the house, buying groceries, and cooking. In the afternoon, I pick up the children, tutor them, wash and clean, and can only catch my breath late at night. When he comes home from work, he just lies on the sofa, scrolling through his phone and watching TV. Let alone helping, he ignores the children when they make noise, only finding them annoying, and he even shouts at me, "Can you control the children? It's so noisy." What chills my heart even more is his bias. Among the 3 children, he only has eyes for his own eldest son. When they come home from school, he only takes his son's school bag and asks if he ate well today, but he never cares about my daughter's school bag. When my daughter wants to say a word to him, he waves his hand impatiently. Buying snacks and clothes is the same. His eldest son always gets priority, and my 2 children often have to use what's left. On my daughter's birthday, I wanted to buy her a new piece of clothing, and he told me not to waste money. But for his eldest son's birthday, he was willing to spend several hundred on toys. I quarreled with him several times, and each time he defended himself, saying, "My son has suffered a lot with me, so what if I love him a bit more?" Later I realized he knows for sure that I can't bear to leave the children, and I don't have the ability to raise the young son and my daughter alone, so he dares to bully me like this. All these years I've been at home taking care of children, completely out of touch with society, with no job and no income. If I really divorced, I couldn't afford to raise 2 children at all. He manipulates my weakness and treats me more and more excessively. He ignores family matters, always picks on my faults, complaining that my cooking isn't good or the housework isn't done well, and occasionally gives me the silent treatment for days. In the dead of night, looking at my little son sleeping beside me and thinking of my increasingly silent daughter, tears just can't help falling. I often can't help thinking, how good it would be if I hadn't divorced my ex-husband. Although my ex-husband didn't talk much, he was very steady and treated me and my daughter genuinely well. He gave me all the family money to manage and discussed everything with me. I never suffered any grievances. My daughter is a teenager now. I shouldn't have been this tired. In a few years, when the child goes to college, I could have easily enjoyed life. But now, I am trapped in this house, tired like an ox every day, without receiving a shred of care or respect. I finally figured it out. The so-called personality clashes back then are nothing compared to now. All marriages are actually the same. There will be bumps, and they all require mutual tolerance and adaptation. There is no perfect partner, only couples willing to manage life together. I was too naive and greedy back then, always thinking I could find someone better. The result? I jumped into a deeper abyss. In the heart of a divorced man, there is already a wall. His money, his love, his trust, he won't give them to you easily. He married you just to find someone to take care of the children, manage the housework, and give him a seemingly complete home. And I, foolishly, thought I found true love, even bore him a child, completely locking myself in. It's too late to say anything now. I chose this myself, and I have to keep going no matter how bitter or hard it is. I just hope the little one grows up quickly, hoping that I can be liberated sooner. This is a private message from my fan, Yen Yen. I also want to use her story to remind those sisters who want to change partners. Marriage is not child's play. Don't easily give up a stable life, and don't blindly believe that a second marriage can bring happiness. Often, the liberation you imagine might be a deeper pit. By the time you wake up to reality, there is no turning back.
尽量少碰大龄剩女.
Try to avoid older leftover women as much as possible. There is a fundamental difference between leftover women and older leftover women. Being a leftover woman might just mean marrying a few years late, but for an older leftover woman, why is she left behind? In all likelihood, see if Xiao Mu's analysis is correct. It is because they are extremely stubborn. Their own conditions are very average, but their standards are incredibly high. They look down on everyone, which is why they became leftover women. Then, because they kept looking down on people and kept their standards high, the word older was added to the front. As long as you dare to approach them, you will discover that among all their problems, their old age is actually the smallest one. Not only can she anger you to death, but her behavior and language are childish and extremely arrogant, which is completely mismatched with her age. Older leftover men are simply unable to find a wife. Why? Maybe because their financial conditions are poor, right? They can't afford a car or a house, can't afford the bride price, so they can't find a wife and become older leftover men. But it is different with older leftover women. There's nothing they can't do, only things you can't imagine. Not only does she want you to pay for her future life, but she also expects you to pay off the messy debts from her past and pick up the tab, clean up the mess / be the rebound for the mistake she has made. Tell me, who can stand that?
China's dating and marriage market has thoroughly entered a daughter kingdom mode. In matchmaking corners across multiple cities like Shenzhen, Nanjing, and Chengdu, the ratio of men to women has reached an astonishing 1:50. Is it really that many? Matchmaking events in Hangzhou have even seen the rare phenomenon of men entering for free while women have to pay. In these matchmaking activities, women waiting to be married look forward eagerly on site, while male participants are few and far between. Even when a few men do show up, they often use various excuses to flee the venue halfway through. Data shows that the male population in China exceeds the female population by 30 million, and there are as many as 159 million single men of marriageable age. Good heavens, clearly it's a situation of more men than women. So why is it that in the marriage market, it takes 50 single women to match with one single man? In the past 2 years, a concept has become very popular online called male deresponsabilization, implying that men today are shirking marital responsibilities and are no longer willing to pay the bill for marriage. However, This claim ignores a key fact. What is it? Rather than saying single men are actively choosing to be single, it is better to say they are scared away by the currently deformed marriage market. Rather than silently sacrificing without receiving an equal return, they are forced to lie flat and no longer consider marriage a mandatory option. Data from the Ministry of Civil Affairs shows that in 2024, the number of marriage registrations nationwide was only 6.106 million couples, a decrease of 1.574 million couples compared to 2023, hitting a new low in nearly 40 years. This means our society is following in the footsteps of Japan and South Korea, accelerating into a super single era. Behind this marital imbalance lies, first and foremost, the bottomless flattery and double standards of capital. A 25-year-old female university graduate with decent looks, a height of 1.6 meters, and a monthly salary of 6,000 Chinese yuan, approximate $840 is easily labeled a goddess in the marriage market. Conversely, a 28-year-old male university graduate with regular features, a height of 1.75 meters, and a passing monthly salary cannot even step over the threshold of the marriage market unless he owns a house and a car paid in full. If you visit matchmaking corners across the country, you will find that in women's criteria for a spouse, a house and a car are just basic conditions, whereas men rarely have many financial requirements for their partners. Right? Even if two people successfully enter the dating stage, there are still days like 520, Goddess Day, Valentine's Day, Qixi Festival, the first cup of milk tea of autumn, and so on, all holidays carefully packaged by capital. If a man fails to demonstrate enough love through money at any stage, public opinion will label him as not worth entrusting your life to. Under this bottomless flattery, more and more women are convinced they are born to be pampered. With such a deformed marriage market, how dare men approach rashly? Secondly, in an era where traffic is king, self-media has pushed gender opposition to unprecedented heights. By manipulating public opinion, they declare that women are the vulnerable group in marriage and that women give birth to carry on the man's family line, so the betrothal gift, bride price, cannot be short by even a penny. It's not about the money. What's important is that the man's side shows the right attitude. But the reality is that for young people to buy a house and a car in a big city, they already need to drain their entire family savings. The pressure is too immense. If they have to pay an additional several $100,000 in betrothal gifts, they will likely end up going into debt to get married. However, the toxic chicken soup online doesn't care about this. On one hand, they promote the idea that men shouldn't marry if they have no money, and on the other, they teach women how to add their names to property deeds and how to turn betrothal gifts and dowries into their own premarital assets. Before even getting married, they are already calculating asset division after divorce. Few men can accept this approach of treating love like a business transaction. Finally, the sky-high cost of marriage has made love a luxury in the new era. In first-tier cities like Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, and Shenzhen, even programmers at big tech companies with an annual salary of 300,000 Chinese yuan, approximate $42,000, dare not easily step into marriage. This is because a house is merely the minimum standard for women choosing a spouse, and the down payment for a house in these cities often requires saving for several years without eating or drinking. That's for sure. More critically, this is just the admission ticket to marriage. After getting married and having children, one must bear the high cost of child-rearing. According to relevant statistics, the average cost for a Chinese family to raise a child to age 17 is 540,000 CNY, approximate $75,600. Wow. In first-tier cities like Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou, the cost of raising a child even reaches over 1 million Chinese yuan, approximate $140,000. That's even higher. Although the government constantly introduces policies like birth subsidies and extended maternity leave, in the face of high housing prices and high child-rearing costs, it is basically a drop in the bucket. Under these premises, no one dares to easily step into the besieged fortress of marriage. Here, I want to say to single women waiting to be married, the pursuit of happiness is beyond reproach, but do not be led astray by the flattery of capital and the hype of internet traffic. The foundation of happiness has always been a match of equal social status and mutual benefit, not something measured solely by betrothal gifts, cars, houses, money transfers, and red envelopes, nor is it built on the bottomless unilateral sacrifice of men. If these deformed views on marriage and love are not reversed, perhaps in the near future, men will completely withdraw from the marriage market, and this unbalanced game will have no one left to play. Dear friends, after journeying through these stories of divorce, sky-high bride prices, men lying flat, and the illusions many hold about marriage, what have we truly learned? It seems modern society is turning love into a transaction and marriage into a gamble. But please remember, life has no perfect script, and marriage is neither a place to lie flat and enjoy the fruits of another's labor nor an escape route from reality. Those who chase after the illusion of a domineering CEO or demand millions in bride prices will ultimately only find loneliness. Those who rush into marriage due to pressure or rush into divorce seeking novelty will eventually realize the old partner wasn't necessarily bad, the new one isn't necessarily good. It is often we who are not yet mature enough. The greatest lesson for us today is awareness and appreciation. Be aware enough to set boundaries with those who exploit your kindness, whether they are friends or lovers. Be aware enough to understand that your value does not lie in a designer bag or the amount of a bride price, but in your wisdom, character, and ability to weather storms together. And please, cherish the person who reaches out when you are struggling, the one who shoulders the mortgage with you, not the one who only demands when you are already down. Do not let toxic chicken soup, online, or the vanity of money blind you. True happiness is simple. It is having someone to care for you when you are sick, someone to accompany you when you are old, and knowing that when the storm rages outside, the door to your home remains a peaceful barrier. I hope that every viewer of Chineseemotion, whether single or married, will find a true teammate in life, not a liability. Love yourself enough to set boundaries and love others sincerely enough to grow old together. Thank you for watching.